You rent your house to somebody. The person comes to live in your house and is getting 85% plus, and you are getting 15% or less. The first question you ask yourself is, what sort of contractual agreement did I go into as a landlord? That, for me, is the biggest question you need to ask. Then you would realize that at the outset, there were questions asked by so many people. I think Kofi Bento even asked a question about the $150 that they were charging per test. And it was defended to the latter until ECOWAS dropped it for ECOWAS citizens to $50. Even at $50, look at the money they've raked in. And ask yourself, if you were the landlord, Samson, and going into a contract, you would be happy with this sort of arrangement. I know people would make their arguments around the logistics, the equipment they've put in, XYZ, that they are paying rent and all that. But even if you put all those together, I would be disingenuous if I said, I can understand why we are getting such a low return. And for me, questions have to be asked. And as we go into this conversation, that brings into question the bigger issue of how we have conducted our COVID contractual arrangements. Yes, it's gone well, but we need to look into it to find out if we can learn anything so that moving forward, if we have to go into such contractual obligations, we learn. Because obviously, I am not intrigued at all.
I think you said the tone right, that this is clearly a question of landlord and tenant. So all the airport company did was to rent its premises to the Frontiers Health Services. And that's all there was about it. The equipment that were put in there, the drugs that were used for the testing, everything was done by the Frontiers Health Services. So if they make $17.3 million US in between September and December 2020, and you are getting $1.1 million, why should you have any issues of complaints? You are just a landlord. You just rented out your premises.
Samson, you will need to look at this beyond just renting it out. As the landlord, you have an economy to run. That barrier you are putting in becomes a traveling barrier, which is a barrier to access to your economy. So therefore, you are constraining travelers because you are encumbering them with an extra $150 that hitherto they wouldn't have paid if they were supposed to come into Ghana to transact business. So if your economy is going to be challenged based on that step, it behoves on you that you would accrue some amount in lieu of the pain the economy is taking. So I don't buy the idea that we just rented it. And that's why I'm saying that then you're telling me that the landlord didn't know the gravity of the problem he was dealing with. Because if he knew the gravity of the problem he was dealing with, and the fact that this was a barrier to travel, it was a barrier to access to our economy, it was an inconvenience, so to speak, in a pandemic, he would have looked at it and said, yes, I know you are bringing in biosecurity, which is strictly what they are doing there to ensure that they can identify people who are positives and exclude them from the general population. But as much as you do that, you shouldn't exceedingly benefit from it at the expense of my economic constraint. And I think that is the balance that I'm not getting a feeling that was done. If you just tell me, oh, it was just rent.
Right.